Right, we have a little review of magnetic force on 5 different electrons. The magnetic field is uniform, goes from left to right, and we have 5 different possible velocities for 5 different electrons in the plane of the page. So I'm going to go through and draw in the correct direction for the magnetic force vector for each of these cases. So we'll just start with particle 1. For particle 1, you observe that V is parallel to VB, and therefore V cross B has to equal 0. There is no direction that is perpendicular to both B and B when they point in the same direction. So this is our case where the magnetic force has to vanish. Okay. All right. Let's look at electron V2. For V2, let's sketch it out here. So at the tail of the velocity vector, that's the magnetic field line. So V cross B is V cross B. My thumb is coming out of the plane of the page. And therefore the magnetic force is into the plane of the page for that electron, because the charge of the electron is negative. So the magnetic force points in the opposite direction as V cross B. All right, let's look at charge electron 3. So again, the magnetic field is just pointing to the right. V cross B is going to point into the page. So there's V cross B, and then the magnetic force points in the opposite direction as V cross B. So we'll have a magnetic force that is coming out of the page. All right, for particle 4, sketch in for reference with the magnetic field. Looks like with the tail. So now we have that V is parallel to minus B. And again, that means that V cross B has to be 0. So the same as with particle 1. There is no direction that I can specify that's going to be perpendicular to 2 vectors that are pointed in opposite directions. So V cross B vanishes, and therefore the magnetic force is 0. All right, last one. Electron 5, there's its velocity vector, and there's the magnetic field. So V cross B is pointing in to the plane of the page. So there is V cross B, and again, the magnetic force points in the opposite direction. So for electron 5, the magnetic force is coming out of the plane of the page. All right, so electron 1, no magnetic force. Electron 2, into the page. Electron 3, out of the page. Electron 4, no magnetic force. Electron 5, coming out of the page.